Good day and welcome to your favorite sport program on TV, 360 Sports. And definitely today will be another enticing and interesting day. My name is Mudashiru Shitu and I will be talking about one of the fastest growing sports in the country, and that's chess. But I won't be doing this alone. I have, yes, honored to have the Vice President of Nigerian Chess Federation as Prince Adewale Adeyinka, who has done so well for chess in the country, and we'll be talking about the development of chess. And there's one particular, we'll be also looking at one particular chess tournament that is taking the city of Lagos by storm, talking about the Kappa City chess tournament. It's good to have you in the house.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here again.
It's really honored to have should I say, the second most important person staying the affairs of chess in the country.
The Vice President,
the Vice
more like
President,
it, yes.
And you've been doing so much. During your tenure, we had, still your tenure, we had the President of FIDE in the country.
Yes.
And so far, so good. How have been the policies to ensure chess develop in this continuous development? How far so good?
Thank you very much. Just like I said earlier, it's my pleasure to be here. You know, when you have the people who is actually in charge of the global affair of chess visiting you, they will definitely point you to the right direction about things that you're not doing right and how to improve. We're privileged to have President Hakadi. That's the president of FIDE. FIDE is the global body that regulates chess all over the world. So we're privileged to have him during the tournament called AICC, that's Africa Individual Chess Championship. He was there to grace the occasion at the opening ceremony. He was actually in Nigeria for 3 days. He also visited one of the chess in slum that we have that is being promoted by Mr. Tunde Onakoya. And he made a lot of promises that we're going to do a whole lot. And we are also seeing this. Recently, FIDE has appointed Tunde Onakoya as one of the members of Social Commission in Nigeria. So he's one of those people in Africa that has been identified. So that was one of the effects of his coming to Nigeria.
Okay, interesting, and I'm sure that obviously we're already on the global map when it comes to chess.
Correct.
And one of the top nations in Africa.
That's
but
correct.
We still also know that chess still has a lot of T's to cross and I's to dot in the country. But one of your policy, I want to ask how far you've gone with that, is to ensure that sports, chess become a curriculum in school. Instead of an extra curriculum, it should be part. So I'm sure that other things you are putting in place. Can you tell us a bit about some of your policies?
Chess in education. We've seen that chess and education, they are one, and I mean, they are very related. Some of the features of chess, you also see that there are also features that are required in education. The skills are almost similar. So, and that's why we are promoting the fact that instead of making it to be optional for students in school to actually, especially at the elementary level, the primary school, the secondary school can be optional. But at the primary level, we can actually ensure that a child actually plays chess. One major thing that you can pick from a child that plays chess is that you will see that such child will pay attention. The concentration level of such child will be very high. So if a child is actually disturbing you and you introduce that particular child to chess, you will see he will want to go and play chess, and thereby taking you, I mean, you give him more attention. I mean, you are giving attention to other things because that child is engaged playing chess. Apart from other things that the child can actually benefit by playing chess, by his brain that is going to improve, the analysis level of the child that is going to improve, the cognitive level of the child which is going to improve. So we've seen that this is necessary. And that's why we feel we cannot just promote without having people who will drive it. Okay. And that's why we are trying to ensure that we train our people. Not just training, we certify them by the world body, by FIDE. So, and that's why recently we had a training where we had one of the commission member from FIDE come around to do a physical training with our member, I mean some of the people who are currently doing chess in school. And we believe that if we're able to run this kind of program throughout the year, we'll have a quite number of people throughout Nigeria that can actually teach us. So when we equip ourselves, we can then go out and say, oh, we can train other people in what chess is able to provide to them. And I'm sure a lot of people are also, the awareness is increasing in terms of why people should play chess or why their children should actually play chess. Besides, chess can actually be played by different kind of people, irrespective of the age, irrespective of the gender, irrespective of the disability. Chess can be played by anybody.
Okay, interesting. And I'm sure that in chess and education, there's obviously some orders to cross. And I'm sure some of them we might need a legislation to ensure some of this. Inside of the government, how progressive, how cooperative are other stakeholders in ensuring this?
Okay, so right now what we are doing is to do more of stakeholders engagement. Okay. We have not pushed any policy yet. What we are doing is to look at people who will listen to us and see how to tell them the reason why this should happen. So, and we believe when we get to the point where we feel we have engaged people who can actually make it happen, we will then go all out and make a policy and push our policy through the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport, which is the ministry in which we are operating under. What we need is actually a collaboration between the Ministry of Sport and the Ministry of Education. So, but our ministry needs to accept it first before we go all out to collaborate with the Ministry of Education.
Interesting moment for chess lovers. Also thing is we should know is that for all this, how enlightened or how knowledgeable are the general public to know you're doing so much on this? Because to me, I feel that this is one policy or this is one thing that needs to go. So in schools right now, are they aware of the coming of such a policy, or are there something that will also keep them on their toes to achieve this?
I'll say yes and no.
Okay.
The reason is that when you are trying to put a policy, you also do not want to go to the beneficiary first. You go to the people that will make the policy work first. So what we are doing is to engage the people who will make the policy to actually work. Definitely, the awareness is very high now. Practically almost all the private schools in Lagos are actually playing chess, but what they are doing is more of an extracurricular, whereby they call it chess club. But we don't want it to be called a chess club. We want it to be called a chess class, whereby a certified tutor, instructor, will be the one that is teaching these children. Aside the chess itself, there are so many other benefits that the children can actually benefit. So you can only derive that from someone who is certified on this. So we believe when we are done with the engagement with people who will make the policy to fly, it is then we can start creating awareness. And we also appreciate what you are also doing. Okay. This is part of the awareness. Okay. You are making, you give us opportunity for us to communicate with the world. This is a fantastic platform for us to also, which we are leveraging on. Okay,
interesting. I also know this policy, I think also part of it is a policy of ensuring that every region in the country have at least a chess tournament per region. And I'm sure that I'm aware about the Southwest. And I'm also aware about the Southwest. How impactful are all these policies and this chess championship in the region? How impactful are they?
So this has actually come to stay. This came up during our first board meeting. That was 2021. Okay. Where the president, Sani Mohammed, DIG Sani Mohammed retired, made it that, okay, while we are looking for sponsors, institutions out there, that each member of the board who has come from a particular zone, you have represented from South, like I come from the Southwest. I represent the entire Southwest, all the 6 states in Southwest. Why some other people represent Southeast, North Central, Northwest, and Northeast, and the South. So he made it mandatory that all of us, we must actually conduct a championship in our zone. So last year we had Southwest, South-South, Southeast, North Central, Northwest. Northeast was actually organized but couldn't hold due to some issues
Okay.
in that region.
Okay.
But we believe that this year, the calendar has come out. We released calendar very late in January, and you will see all the tournaments are listed in that particular calendar. So we're still going to have all the tournament, North Central, Northwest, Northeast, Southwest, South-South, and South-West. We're going to have all the tournament during this year. Like Southwest is slated to happen in the month of August in Lagos here. Okay. We are trying to rotate it.
And the last
one was actually held in Osun State. Okay. So this one we want to do it in Lagos. Okay. So we are still contemplating. It might be Lagos, it might be Ogun State. Either Lagos or Ogun State is still Southwest.
So for until your tenure is over.
Yes, every year we must actually have it.
Okay.
Every
each
year.
Of these
each
zona,
of the zones,
okay.
yes. So in fact, right now, the champion of each of those zona will come and play the national qualifier to play in the national championship.
Okay, we'll still come to the national championship. Yes, but before then, let's go a step ahead to Africa.
Yes.
What's agreed Nigeria in terms of chess community in Africa? Where can we put ourselves so that I'll also be boastful? Please, listeners, I'll also be boastful that okay, in Africa we are this, we are that, in as much as we know you are doing so well at home. But let's go beyond ourselves. In Africa, right now, what agenda are you pushing, and what level are we in Africa?
Okay, so thank you very much. In Africa today, there are many yardsticks or KPIs, if I can put it, or that you can use to actually assess or appraise or evaluate yourself that this is where you belong. I can tell you before even mentioning the yardstick that we are actually supposed to be ranked between, we should be top 10 in Nigeria.
In Africa?
Sorry, in Africa, rather, in Africa. However, when you're actually ranking the position of the country in Africa, things like Grandmaster, International Master, FIDE Master, that is the number of Grandmasters that we have, the number of International Masters that we have, the number of FIDE Masters, and the number of Candidate Master. Those are different titles that are actually assigned to chess players. So the highest title that you give to a chess player that is playing globally is actually called a Grandmaster. Of course, each one of them is expected to have a rating. So even Grandmasters have levels. There are Grandmaster of 2400, there are Grandmaster of 2500, there are Grandmaster of 2600, 2700, 2800. That is where the current world champion Magnus Carlsen is. It's 28 plus right now. Some other players have also been there and have dropped out of that band as well. So in Nigeria today, in Africa today, we do not have a Grandmaster. Okay. So it is not then easy for us to actually be boastful that we are there yet. So we are not at that point that we have. And that is one of the agenda we are trying to push for. That is, how do we achieve a Grandmaster in the next 3 to 5 years? For us to achieve a Grandmaster in the next 3 to 5 years, our players need to play a lot of tournaments locally. Our players need to go to Continental to go and play. Our players need to go to the Zona to go and play. Our players need to go international to go and play. Because if you are playing only locally, it's only the knowledge that you know that is available locally that is also going to be available to you as the champion of the local level, of Nigeria. But the truth is, if you go out, you go and play in Europe, you play in America, you play in UK, you'll be exposed to what is happening to international world. And you are able to also gather some international ratings that will increase your own rating. And that can actually make you to attain that Grandmaster level. So right now, we do not have enough. There are so many tournaments that are lined up for the year. But unfortunately, there are little resources that we can actually use. We have a lot of youth tournaments to take place. There is one that is going to happen in Greece very soon, which is a youth tournament. So if we have sponsors, we're supposed to actually have about 10 players, 10 youth players, under 14, under 15, under 16, under 18. Take them to that particular tournament. You'll be surprised that we have a lot of talent in this country. Like, for example, one of our young player is actually ranked among top 10 in the world. But this chess players does not have what it takes to go all out and participate.
Okay.
So
who is that?
Right now, I'm not sure because the rating actually fluctuates every month. So I don't want to mention name because I'm not sure of what happened last month. So if the person play or someone else has gone above that particular person.
It could have been the man in, what's that young man, the FIDE master that I gave him an award one time.
Is it Isaac Okeke? No, not Isaac Okeke.
So
we have very young player. But right now we are expecting that most of this will get sponsored for those people. We'll be able to take them out. You know, it's not easy to buy flight tickets and accommodation over there. So we'll still believe that we will have one or two people out there or institution out there that can actually showcase and support chess.
We got the video of the president of FIDE. We'll go on a quick break and we have an interview with the president of FIDE when he came to Nigeria last year, and he has so much to say. Enjoy this.
Be a guest of this huge country with long tradition, and one of the countries where chess is developing successfully. Still, the level, of course, is not as in the most advanced countries, but I love the enthusiasm, level of inspiration people have here, and this deserves support. I think that there are many opportunities in this country after having seen both the city and people, including both professional chess, raising a new generation of talents, and social projects, including chess in slums, chess in prisons and others, also with a special focus on women, since this part is underdeveloped everywhere, and we focus on this more and more in FIDE. So I have good impressions from Nigeria up to now, and I have many ideas in my head how we can support the development of chess in this country. Are willing to continue support to the continental associations, while the sustainable way is to attract own sponsors, own partners for these entities, and we would be willing certainly to persuade some of our partners to support ACC directly and to support African tournaments directly, not just through FIDE support fund, through FIDE Development Fund. Meanwhile, before that happens, we'll continue supporting Africa through the Continental Development Fund. It will provide minimum necessary finances both for organizational work and for major tournaments.
Welcome back. Interesting moments of talking chess. They'll still have the vice president of Nigerian Chess Federation here, Prince Adewale Adeyinka, with us. And it's good to still have you in the house.
Thank you.
On your list of events which you've brought out this year, there's a particular event that seems very interesting, and that has to do with the capacity chess tournament. It's tell us more, is it biannual, bi-monthly tournament?
So capacity events, chess event is actually a new chess tournament that's I personally sponsored the initiative this particular year as part of the objective of encouraging chess development in Nigeria. And the major focus of this event is to increase the rating performance of chess players in Nigeria for classical tournaments. And this capacity is actually a name coined out of two bodies. That's Capablanca
Okay.
company in Nigeria,
Okay.
and City Heights Luxury Hotel
Okay.
in Nigeria.
Okay.
So I was able to convince the chairman of City Heights
Okay.
Hotel and the chairman of Capablanca that this event will have a whole lot of impact. Imagine a place where you're supposed to pay almost 500,000 for event, and the man said, just bring 50,000 and have the hall. So it shows a lot. So the man gave us that. So, and we really appreciate the efforts that this man has put into chess. So this event is going to run throughout the year.
Okay.
We're going to have it at least once in 2 months. Okay. We're looking at having every month, but you know, a business place also needs to be run as a business. So this is an event that is used for daily, weekly events. So we cannot just be given the sole right to run the whole place every month. So the month that the place is available, we will use it. But we have been guaranteed that this event will take place at least once in 2 months.
Okay. And what do you intend to achieve with this? Because obviously, like you said earlier, that events are meant to always, chess players are always meant to take part in chess to be able to lift their ranking and all that. But what do you intend to achieve? Because it's divided into two.
Yes.
There's the classical and the blitz.
Yes.
And of what purpose and what do you intend to achieve?
Okay, so just like I said earlier, the main purpose of this event is for strong players to emerge at the end of the year. Now, what do I mean by some players to emerge at the end of the day, of the year? At the end of every tournament, there is a rating that comes.
Okay.
And that rating can increase or decrease based on your performance in a particular event. Right now, the rating of some players does not actually reflect their strengths. Okay. Why? Simply because they have not played so much tournament. So this event is going to give such player an opportunity to play a lot of events, a lot of tournaments that will make him to gather and gain a lot of rating that will take him near his particular position or to his particular position. Okay. So that is the purpose of this event.
Okay, and if you do that monthly, that means if you
every
do that
month,
if you do that once in 2 months, that means the rating increase.
It will be
as long
at
as
the end of every month. This rating is not managed by us. This rating is managed by FIDE.
FIDE.
This is a world rating.
Okay.
So everybody, every chess player that has an ID supposed to have a rating. So if you play a tournament, we will submit that event because this event is FIDE rated. Okay. So that event will be submitted to FIDE, and FIDE will rate the event and tell us what your rating is at the end of a particular month.
Yeah. Lastly, because of time, we had in the first edition we had 123 participants. Are you looking for
this event?
Yeah.
We had 75.
So for
we
the
had 75.
classical,
yes,
and for the blitz,
we have 75 players. It's part of the 75 that also participated in the blitz.
Oh, okay,
yes.
interesting.
So we have 48 people.
Is there a process of trying to increase the participants? And tell us what you're having one in March?
Yes.
Tell us what to.
So the month of January is a very good one. The first event, you are having 75 players participating, and in that 75 players you have players who are Indians residing in Nigeria who participated. We have people who are English people who are based in Nigeria who participated as well. So, and that's the first event. So you know, sometimes it is when people see what happened in the last edition, they want to actually participate on the subsequent one. So we believe the one that is coming out in the month of March is going to be
specific.
Yes. Right now we are looking at between the 26th to 28th of March. Again, it depends on the availability of space for us, but we have been guaranteed that we will be given a slot for the month of March. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much for.
Thank you very much for having me.
Time will not allow me to let people know that the Blizz you won that.
Yeah, I came second.
I came second in the Blizz.
Yeah, I came second. Yes.
Thank you very much for being
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
That's all we could take on our favorite program. That's 360 Sport. And we'll be talking about chess and chess development. We also had the interview of the Vice President of Nigeria Chess Federation. If you're wondering who I've been speaking with, it's the Vice President of Nigerian Chess Federation, talking about Prince Adewale Adeyinka. I'm Mudashiru Shitu. Thanks for watching. Same time, we'll be giving you all what you need to know in the world of sports. Bye for now.
the famous Benin bronzes, because the term ancient has been kind of referred to in a way that implies that it's a dead civilization. And what I mean by that is people don't necessarily know that we are still living, that actually even after the bronzes were stolen, we continued making bronzes here. The bronzes have been made the same way and passed down through these guilds which make these artifacts. But these artifacts were treated in museums like dinosaur fossils and things that they dug from the earth. They're not actually associated with the living civilization of Benin. And so that is why today is called This is Ancient Benin. Because we are an ancient culture, we're still living. You just saw some of the songs and dances and the traditional dance troupes. You know, we've been singing these songs for thousands of years, you know, for a very, very long time. You know, but we want to showcase that we're still making artifacts and that we're living civilizations. So, so I hope that you'll be interested and you'll enjoy what you see here today.
Can we put our hands together for the yourself? And so where is Mr. Lucas Okoro? Lucas!
This event is called This is Ancient Benin because as you can see, we recreated what ancient Benin used to look like. So you're in this exhibit now, which is showcasing Benin's first guild.
This work is actually called The Return of Oba Iwari. So it's a hieroglyph. It's the largest Benin bronze plaque ever made, and I made it to depict the fact that ancient Benin is called ancient Benin because of its age, not because it's a dead civilization. That actually we've been living for a long time as an ancient civilization, and the traditions and the culture that we practice have been passed down and continue till this day. So, for example, Benin actually has the oldest living guilds in the world, including the guilds of broadcasting, the guilds of wood carving, and these are guilds where membership is passed down, you know, by heritage, and they're ongoing. So, it's interesting because, you know, we've recently, you know, the foreign museums have finally agreed to return some of the stolen Benin bronze artifacts. So, it's interesting to be unveiling this work because I wanted to show that the fact that at no point did we ever stop making these bronzes the same way after they were stolen. There is this misconception, actually a dissociation of ancient Benin and actually the Benin bronzes from Benin people themselves. Benin people are not associated with the Benin bronzes. We're not even associated. The museums that house these bronzes actually created the concept of ancient Benin as a way of dissociating Benin people from those bronzes, because ancient Benin became some kind of archaeological, you know, discovery, like they went and dug out the bronzes like dinosaur fossils, which is not true. You know, the bronzes, we've still been making them since today, even the same way. So I wanted to show that we can still make new artifacts, and artifacts that have just as more, if not more, value than the ones that they stole, using the exact same traditional methods. This actually also is to demonstrate the fact that our bronze plaques and our bronze works were a form of writing. So in 2019, I actually launched a petition to have the UK museums officially classify the Benin bronzes and the Benin plaques as hieroglyphs, which I feel is important because they were a form of writing. And usually when people hear the term hieroglyph, they're associated with ancient Egypt. You know, people are used to, you know, seeing their drawings, and there was a form of writing. But the Benin bronzes and the Benin arts have not actually been given that same recognition, that these are not just mere artworks. They're actually our way of writing. And So I wanted to actually showcase that by writing the story of Obayawari I in bronze. And so that's exactly what this depicts here. This is a very interesting hieroglyph because it shows the true story of Obayawari I, who we call Obayawari Ogidigan, who is Obayawari the Great. He is probably the most revered and most appreciated Oba from Benin history. Essentially, he was the first real emperor and the first real warrior king of Benin, and he's credited as essentially turning it from a kingdom into a full-fledged empire. So he was a really, really great ruler of Benin, and he lived in 1400s. And so the story here simultaneously depicts two things. It depicts the true story of Obayawari I, but it simultaneously is depicting the Benin traditional belief in reincarnation. So in our tradition, traditional and Benin culture believe in reincarnation, and we believe that, you know, people have 7 lives and were reincarnated 7 to 9 times. So it's very interesting, and I wanted to depict that. And the reason it's simultaneously depicting those two things is because this bronze was made during the time of Obayawari II, who is our current Oba of Benin. And when an Oba takes the name of an Oba that previously lived, it's believed that that Oba is the reincarnation of the Oba. The work is about 7 by 7 feet long and wide, and it's made out of 2 tons of pure brass. So it's complete brass, and it's so obviously quite heavy. Interesting to be unveiling this work because the British museums and German museums and some other European museums finally agreed, after many long decades of campaigning from the palace and campaigning from Benin, to have these artifacts returned. They finally agreed some kind of arrangement to return them. And so this is a way of showing that we're still capable of making the same artifacts. In fact, even better and bigger now. And that I'm actually offering this artifact to the British Museum in appreciation for the fact that they're returning our stolen artifacts. And by doing so, I believe that we can change the narrative of what museums represent. And museums have this tarnished reputation now because of their association with looted and stolen artifacts. And it's almost becoming politically incorrect to even visit museums now because there's been a lot of growing momentum towards the campaign of returning these looted artifacts. But we believe we can change this narrative because it's possible to actually give museums actual artifacts that are handed to them freely and not stolen, by giving an artifact that has historical value and saying we're willing for you to have an artifact in appreciation that returning the stolen ones and no longer having that taint. And it's a way of showcasing living history. Part of what this represents is the interest in establishing, in promoting our living history.
It gives me great pleasure, more so that a youngster like the gentleman whose work we are celebrating will return home from Britain and dive right straight to the culture that he really doesn't know too much about, but the interest is there. He came back home and then he started to do everything that you have been exposed to and that we have, been told about. It's amazing and it's very impressive. It's not only magical, it's spiritual. I mean, can you imagine having the opportunity to see something that is been over, what, 200 years old? It's spiritual. It's like having the opportunity to see your parents of that era. So, as Benins, we are very proud of our culture, and we hold them in very high esteem. They mean a whole lot to us, and for we to have them back, it's something that we'll be very grateful for. When those artifacts were in existence, there was no Nigeria. When those artifacts were in existence before the invasion, there was no Edo State. The only place that existed then was the Oba Palace and the Benin Kingdom. If those artifacts were taken away from Benin Kingdom, do we need to tell anybody? Do we need to argue where it needs to go to? It is the property of the Oba of Benin and the entire history of the kingdom. The final resting place for those artifacts is the palace, nowhere else. We are not an ancient culture. We are Benin, and the Benin people have ancient history that is still alive. This young man has proven that now, that even though we think things are going into extinction, this is reassuring that, you know, there's so much ahead of us. There's plenty of hope that our culture will survive and will continue to survive. Our culture is here to stay, now and forever.
When you look how far the diverse fields where this man is coming from the medical field, and is doing their two opposites, and is doing this of our artworks, our artifacts. We all know that those are two very, very diverse fields. And then it was also pushed out of what we call a pandemic. So it leaves me what people call wow, you know. So we are proud of him. This is genius work, and it gives us hope, because artifacts, guilds, people see them in different lights. A lot of people see them as paintings, a lot of people see them as artwork, but for us as Beninese, contemporary Benin, our artifacts are our history. And you can see what he did in the first, up there. He linked each of the various works with our history, up till the crown that the king was wearing, down to his brothers and how they lived in the palace or in ancient Benin. Everything is interconnected. So it's a history. It is not just an artwork or a picture. It tells us about our forefathers and our forebears. So we are happy that, like I said, it's a genius work. We're happy. As a people, you must know where you are coming from to know, you understand. It shapes where you're going to. So the government is already committing resources towards more archaeological research on our history as a people. So with young men like this coming on board, like I said in my speech, in the speech from His Excellency, he and his team, it tells you that we have 100 of them out there. They just need to be encouraged and tapped. They have serious roles to play in shaping our future. There is a lot to be done, but what you have taken unlawfully, you have to return. That is what we are asking for. That's why we are asking them to bring. So we have 1,001 Osarobos out there that are ready to do something and give out as gifts. We have been giving them gifts over the years. So we are happy we are receiving what they took away. Work is going on. It's a continuous work. It is not, the artifacts are not coming in a day. So we are prepared to receive the artifacts.
I'm so excited and I'm so happy that in my time this thing is happening, because we had thought that the Benin culture was dying slowly, and to come and see young men, very young men who have been abroad all their life, come to Benin and they are able to set up all these things. You can see all the things, the artwork they did. It's marvelous and we are happy and it's awesome. And my advice to the youth is that they should not be lazy. They should find things they can do with their hands. It's not always you think you can make money by hammering. You can make money by doing 419. You can make money really by going down to the root and find things to do with your hand. And these things will cost money and yield money to you. See what happened today now. See what has been given to the youth to go on and invest in their businesses.
This one will give a lot of young ones idea and lesson. When they say people from Edo State, they are always going to Italy, Libya, this and this, Yahoo, but not everybody. I advise them to sit down, think what to do in your country. You will succeed.
In love with my culture. Not just that I'm here, sir. If you look around here now, you'll find quite there are things about culture all over me. And I have written 1 or 2 books on our culture. So he knows that it's one of those things that I like. And I'm a chief and the head of the chiefs of the Benin Kingdom. If he's going to be my son, he will realize that if he hates culture, he's going to find things difficult. A surprise to me. Like I said, he went to university. That's where we sent him. To come back home and take a right about turn and start doing something else. First of all, he wants to promote a story by way of acts, cultural actions. He wants to tell the story of Baba the First by producing a play on him. All those that place was a marketplace where we had to put those were supposed to be the marketplace for that play. And he built 2 other houses. One of them, palace. Behind the house, that one, after 2 years, we had to get rid of them. He wanted to do, and you see, if my son starts showing that he likes my culture, it makes me happy. The boy had been there. He visited the British Museum. And the things he saw there, something they wrote, annoyed him. And when he came back, he talked about it. And he said, the artifact that people are talking about, they put it in downstairs in the holograms and under this. They didn't put them in the proper museum. They are down in the tunnels. So he was annoyed. As far as I'm concerned, they stole our artifacts. I have been, my Oba, the President Oba's father, sent me to London with 1 or 2 chiefs, with one of his brothers as well. And he wrote a letter to our people there, the Benin Union of Great Britain, that they should join me in trying to. We went to Parliament go and plead that we want our artifacts. I have been in this thing for a long time. The point is, they stole our artifacts. And if they are having a mind change to return it, let them return it without any strings attached. There were no strings when they stole them. We want our artifacts. They stole them from the palace, and they burned the palace thereafter. They should return the artifacts to where they stole them. That's all I am interested in.
We are here to celebrate a new Gid in the ancient city of Benin Kingdom, in affiliation with what it used to be the ancient Gid versus the contemporary Gid. So today we are here with Mr. Lucas to a launching of a contemporary atmosphere for creative artists in Edo State. Here I'm to exhibit my sculptures of tire valves to create this magnificent art piece. Before this time, my sculptures were mainly in bronze because I come from a family in Edo State who is into bronze casting, a lineage of bronze casting. So at some point I had to go to school to further expand my knowledge in sculpture. And during this process, I came in contact with metal sculpture, junk sculptures. So during my final year project, I had to do something different from the usual. Then I noticed the use of spark plugs wasn't in circulation, so I had to put in energy into creating spark plug sculptures. Like that is using spark plugs as a medium in sculpture, and that's how I came up with this. Some of the challenges I have with working with spark plugs, it's about its rigidity. You know, ordinarily we're supposed to work with materials that are easily manipulated to create forms. But the challenge I have with spark plug is that it's a rigid material. So what I do basically is to have an off-cut, because the plug is made of both ceramics and metal. So what I do sometimes to create my intricate forms is to break off the ceramic part of the spark plugs, which will help me create some intriguing forms, which in all together it wouldn't give me that. So when I break off the ceramics part, I think it helps me create such forms. The repatriation of our artifacts from British museums and other international foreign bodies, it's a welcome development for me, because it's a homecoming event for me, because these are the things that instigated us into these creative platforms that we're in today, because it's just like taking off your history from you, and today it's being brought back in your own time. So for me, it's a welcome development. I would like to see them. I would like to touch, if possible, I would like to touch them to see what my ancestors did. Because I know in some years from now, people will look up to my art as we look up to what is coming now. So it's a great deal for me as an artist. My advice to the government is to see to it that the creative minds here who are still based in the city of Benin should be encouraged, should be given much more better platform to express themselves, give them platform to exhibit what they have on ground. Yeah, it is a good thing to welcome the artifacts that are coming, but my view is, what about the artists that are still based here? What value should we do? So it is better also we encourage these people. I think the best thing to do is encouragement, like give them a platform to express themselves more. And I think this also will help the incoming artists. This will help more people to want to come into this field when they see people of their kind from the same region going beyond their shores just with the work of art. So I believe this will help them pick interest in wanting to come up with this as well.
What we really go through is not really meant for humans, because when you're there, like in a small room whereby you maybe like people of 10 people should be in, you come across like 100 people in a particular small room, and when you want to sleep, you have to sleep with your side. Everyone sleeps on sides. You understand? So there's no more space, and you want to ease yourself or make use of the toilet, it's just in front of you. So you can inhale the odor of the toilet, which is not conducive for the human health. So, and apart from that one, the weather is very, very cold, extremely cold, and at night, you don't have something like blankets that will be given to you. So it's not really
good for the body, to be precise. And in terms of feeding, you're being given just a long bread. We call it hamsa. Just a long bread. That's your meal. They'll give you three of it. That's your meal for your lunch, your breakfast, and your dinner, which is not healthy at all. I was deported, and I was deported back to the border of Algeria and Mali. Okay, so when we were deported there, it was a Sahara desert, to be precise. That's where they will leave you. And when they leave you in that border between Algeria and Mali, you have to walk 7 kilometers to the border of Mali, and we call that 7 kilometers to hellfire, because it's extremely hot over there. Some of them that is already, you were not really giving food well when you were in the camp. You don't have the strength to even walk. Some of them died along the way. Some of them, I'm not gonna lie you, have to drink their own urine just to survive, to have strength to be able to go to that next borderline of the Algeria. So it's really, really hectic. You have to make a choice to go back to Algeria, or you have to go back to Morocco. And when you're being taken to the border of Algeria, the Algerian militants, they open fire on the militants of the Moroccans. So they don't have to hide. All they can do, just tell you, okay, just go this way, just go down the valley, just stick like this. That is Algeria. So if you want to go back to Algeria, you will not have to surrender yourself to the militants of the Algerians. They will not put you into deportation camp. They do not have to deport you back to Mali. So it's like you're being deported from one country to another. And you can imagine the shape of the deportation camp in Mali there. It is, oh God, it's unexplainable. I believe, I won't lie, I believe I spent 16 years in this journey. On transit, you know.
1957年、私が1歳8ヶ月の時、私の祖父、尾形福松が突然原因不明の病気を発症し、日に日に病状が悪化し、痙攣やよだれの垂れ流し、歩行困難、言語障害、そういった症状が繰り返されて2ヶ月過ぎた当時の水俣市立病院の隔離病棟、伝染病棟にて狂ってあの世へ旅立ったというふうに聞かされています。さらには祖父福松が病気を発症したその1週間前に生まれた私の妹ひとみが原因不明の重度の症状を背負ってですね、この世に生を受けた。そのことをきっかけに当時暮らしていた尾形家の家族が次々と体調の不調を訴え、水俣病という認定を受けた親族は20名です。そして胎児性水俣病患者が3名います。私は水俣病資料館で語り部をしております尾形正美と言います。本業としてはですね、尾形建具店という木工商です。仕事をしながら語り部活動を行っております。大人になってから気づいたんですけども、ものすごく、手足の感覚が通常の人に比べたらですね、低下していることが明らかになりました。メチル水銀中毒が原因というふうに分かってはいくんですけども、水俣病特有の偏見差別がさらに尾形家に襲いかかったわけです。水俣病はうつるという噂が飛び交ったためにですね、私たちの被害を明らかにすることができなかったわけです。私も物心ついた時から幸せになりたい というその願いの中でですね、水俣病は邪魔だと思うようになりました。家族にも隠し、家庭を持ち、そしてやがて子供が生まれました。女の子でした。娘が大学に向かうその前日だったと思います。私にこんな言葉が書きました。正直に生きなさいと言っているお父さんこそが正直に生きないとね。その娘の言葉がですね、私の胸に突き刺さったような気がしたんです。38歳の時でした。そして私が選んだ道、娘のためにも自分のためにも世の中のためにも、人類が初めて体験したとされる水俣病の被害者であることを明かさなければならない。認定を受けてからこれから私はどう生きるのかということをさらに自分に問いかけた時に、語り部になって世界中の人たちにまず伝えること、その中で2013年はですね、水俣から世界に水銀に関する条約、水俣条約を発信することができました。開会式でですね、スピーチを行ったわけです。水俣病を悲惨な出来事で決して終わらせないでほしい。水俣病を世界が教訓として役立ててほしいということを強く訴えました。お集まりの世界の皆様、ようこそ水俣に。水俣湾郊外水俣病、ここは爆心地です。で、本来ここは海だったんです。広大な埋め立て地をさまざまな形で活用して新しい水俣をですね、少しずつ取り戻しつつある。ここは未生の森といいます。偏見差別を一日でも早くなくし、本来の水俣を取り戻そうという願いの中でですね、取り組まれたこの未生の森。その森がですね、こんなに大きく成長しているわけです。私は許可をいただいて枝を切り、そしてその枝からですね、新しく生まれる生命、祈りのこけしというのを今まで4000体以上掘って渡してきたんです。水俣病の被害に遭ったものができることを世界の人たちに伝えることによって、世界が勇気と希望を持ってくれるんじゃないかな。水俣病は決して終わったわけではない。これからそういう意味でも水俣は世界に発信していく拠点になるんじゃないかな。
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts and undiluted truths.
I hardly believe what politicians are saying in this part of the world.
The new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
TV360, dissecting the issues.
Hello and welcome to the program. I am Mary Kanu. Amid the controversy surrounding the transmission portal of the Independent National Electoral Commission, IREV, the electoral body has confirmed the one-week postponement of the governorship and state houses of assembly elections originally scheduled to hold on Saturday, March 11. The election is the second round of the 2023 general election that started with the presidential and national assembly election conducted on February 25. Given reasons for the postponement, INEC's National Commissioner for Voter Education, Festus Okoye, said the Commission needs time to reconfigure the bimodal voter accreditation system BVAS machine used for the presidential election. Recall that the Court of Appeal had granted the People's Democratic Party, the Labour Party and their respective candidates, Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi's request to inspect all sensitive materials used in the conduct of the presidential election. Now, both the PDP and the Labour Party have rejected the election, in which INEC declared the All Progressives Congress candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu as winner and have called for the conduct of another round of elections. Now, to give more insight into this development, I'm joined on the program by Dr. Dayo Kayode, who is also a political affairs analyst. Thank you very much for joining me. All right, now let's begin. Now, from reconfiguration of the BVAS to the postponement of the governorship election, basically, what are your thoughts on, all of the issues that have sprung up concerning the elections?
My thought is just very simple, that Nigeria is always in an act of season films. Okay, season films in terms of when the results of elections were declared, some aggrieved candidates went to the court. And the court said, okay, we are going to allow you to inspect all the sensitive materials that were used to conclude the election. And they were granted. Somehow, INEC went to the same court that, listen, we need to reconfigure these machines to be able to conduct the governorship and the houses of assembly elections. And that same court granted INEC. Now the question is, which one do we follow? Is it not the same thing that the two of them are presented to the court? Why are we now having two different judgments? Again, by the time those machines were being configured, are we still going to be able to have all those proofs, exhibits that the aggrieved candidates want to present in the court? Again, I read in the news, was it yesterday or this morning, that even INEC did not allow the independent observers to even stay with them while trying to reconfigure some of those things. So that means, ab initio, the courts that the aggrieved candidates are even going to will not be having enough evidences to be able to adjudicate appropriately on this inappropriate presidential election that just happened in our country.
Ema na ta mi ro gwe ore pigbe wu. Ema na ta mi ro gwe de pe wa wo lele bile ko yin re. You know go mi yan na dran de wuga. Lo wo lo iku do re. We no mi do ohun lo do wa do lo. Wa ohun lo wa.
We want to beg the government so to talk to Femi Adelaja. When he's coming here, we bring the white boat that last one The last one boat will come with it with many soldiers. Nobody can near the boat. So we are only begging God to help us.
Look at Torubami. Torubami, they just wake up in a day and start pursuing them up and down. They even promise them that don't worry, we will settle you in another community. Torubami people, they are in Makoko community when they pursue them away. Ikate people, they are in Makoko community. Bariga, they are in Makoko community. Now the government and the developer again, they came in that they want to collect Makoko away from us.
If we are a landlord, you show your first date like this, they will start tormenting you that they will be putting fears in your body, they will kill you so that you will not be able to move front to come and push them away.
Makoko community is an urban slum which the Lagos state government considers a dent to its megacity ambition. The government wants to relocate and resettle the people of the community so it can redevelop the place. But the terms of relocation, resettlement and compensation are not clear.
For years, the Makoko, Shogoro and Okeagbon communities have made this place their home. But recent efforts to develop the waterfront threaten their very existence.
So where exactly does the government plan to relocate the locals? What happens to the fishing community? And how does a mega upscale property solve the city's housing deficit? TV360 Nigeria launched an investigation into the redevelopment plan of the Lagos state government and sought to find answers to these questions. Every morning, 55-year-old Godonu Ojo paddles his canoe to the Lagos Lagoon, just meters away from his ancestral home in Makoko to fish. Like thousands of other fishermen in the Makoko waterfront community, Godonu survives on the daily income he gets from selling his daily catch. But the reclamation activities of the Lagos state government, in partnership with the private developer FBT Coral Estates Limited, threatens not only the livelihood of Ojo and other local fishermen here, but also their homes.
I'm a fisherman too. I used to go to fishing. But when that dredging comes, there's a time that they put it on the water. That time the water flowed with it. When somebody passes, that boat will be there's something that used to bring sand will disturb the person. Even though the big wave is coming, the boat can capsize. So we try to manage until they put it on the ground of water. But that thing drive the whole fish to the sea. So that thing now can drive the whole fish to the sea and drive them moving around. They will not come nearby.
From the fishermen who toil all day on the lagoon, to the women who smoke the fish, and then finally to the fishmonger who trades our wares at the popular Makoko seafood market, the survival of each resident is tied to the Lagos Lagoon. But residents say the sand-filling activities on the community waterfront has made fishing very difficult. According to the Lagos State Commissioner for Agriculture, Abisola Olusonya, The artisanal fisheries subsector of the state's fish supply chain presently contributes 80% of local fish production, which accounts for 40% of the state's total fish demand. She added that it also provides a major source of livelihood for fishermen in the state, and Makoko is one of the sources of the city's fish supply. But despite its economic viability, the Lagos state government would prefer that Makoko Iwaya waterfront community does not exist. Rather than cars and motorcycles, canoes bump into each other here in Makoko, an informal waterfront settlement in Lagos, Nigeria. It is often called the Venice of Africa, but its floating slum status, where thousands live in wooden houses nestled on stilts in deep murky waters, tell a different story. The multicultural nature of this riverine community reflects in the language, majorly Egun, Yoruba and French. Despite being a slum, life here is tranquil. Residents engage in routine business activities, offering various forms of services such as grocery shops, door-to-door salesmanship, canoe manufacturing workshops, and even schools that cater for both English and French-speaking people.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Trouble began for the community on July 20, 2012, when the Lagos State Demolition Task Force stormed Makoko and began pulling down houses barely 72 hours after an eviction notice by the Lagos State Ministry of Waterfront Infrastructure Development. To speed up the eviction process, armed men set the wooden houses on fire. In a disturbance, one person lost his life and many others sustained injuries. Again in 2020, the Lagos State government announced the reclamation of 54.58 hectares of Makoko for redevelopment by developer FBT Coral Estate Limited. But this plan has been widely rejected by residents of Makoko Iwaya waterfront community.
Torí bó ṣe wọ́n ṣe fún gbogbo wa àwọn èèyàn wa bó bá ṣe díẹ̀ díẹ̀ nísìn wọ́n á kó wọn kúrò wọ́n ní níbi kankan fi sùn sí gbogbo wa nìkan wà nínú bòté wà nínú ọkọ̀ bó bá níbi kan wá sùn sí kò dá àlọ́mọ wẹ́wẹ́wẹ́ ọmọ pọ̀ mo fẹ́ afẹ́ kó wọn sí àlè kúrò ń bí bọ́tí bí ìjọba fẹ́ tún àwọn sukùn ṣe fún àwọn ọmọ wa ó dà.
I'm a graduate of BSP Polytechnic. I graduated there, and it's from this fishing money that I was sent to school. We have many students here. We have more than 200 students, more than 300 to 1,000 students that are schooling here. We are all trained, all sent to school with this fishing money. If there's something that place, how are we going to survive? How are these people going to survive? Fine, they are talking about development. I know it's not good for we to be staying like this, like wasted. There's no way, there's no place to put waste, dustbin, you understand? No good health center, no government school here. But we ourselves, we support their motion that said they want to develop, but it shouldn't be that way. If truly they would develop the community, they should come. We, the youth, the community, everybody will discuss in a democratic way. They can't just go there and impose dredging or impose any forced eviction on us.
There's no place that can be free to them other than fishing ports. I don't know where you want to take them to. I don't know where you want to develop for them. The only place they can live peacefully is at the fishing ports. So, no to the land grabbing. You know, we have experienced a lot of things, and now we have come to say no to the land grabbing, and let us not be chased from our homes.
The locals, made up of 3 fishing communities, Makoko, Okoagbon and Sogoro, have organized themselves on different occasions to protest the government's relocation and redevelopment plans. They say rather than build the much-needed infrastructure the community needs, the government is employing subtle means to steal their land and redevelop it for the benefit of the city's rich. In 2017, thousands of people in Otodogbame, an informal fishing community, were left homeless when officials of the Lagos State government and armed policemen conducted a forceful eviction. The raid led to the destruction of homes of about 5,000 people and the death of a man who, according to the Justice and Empowerment Initiative (JEI), was shot in the neck.
Look at Torugbame. Torugbame, they just wake up in a day and start pursuing them up and down. They even promise them that, don't worry, we'll settle you in another community. Torugbame people, they are in Makoko community when they pursue them away. Ikate people, they are in Makoko community. Bariga, they are in Makoko community. Now, everybody now in Makoko community, all the people you have chased away, you have promised to relocate them in another community, which you didn't even do. And you now chase them to, they run into Makoko community. Now, the government and the developer again, they came in that they want to collect Makoko away from us.
These particular people are the people that spoil Otodogbame. They went to Otodogbame. They sound feed the waterfront. They make it impossible for the people, the fishing people, to move outside. Since they can't move outside, they use the sound to block the waterfront and then wage war on them, calling the touts, the police, without informing the governor. So when they started this thing, they killed more than 5 people were killed during the Otodogbame forced eviction that took place in 2017.
In an apparent move to avoid public backlash, the state government chose to adopt a new approach of dialogue with the representatives of the Makoko Iwaya waterfront community. But things quickly turned sour when the locals felt sold out by their leaders, or bales, as they are called in the local language. Residents showed us an MOU where the bales signed an agreement with a private developer, FBT Coral Estate Limited, giving consent to the state government's proposed redevelopment and regeneration plans. The residents, however, argued that the MOU was signed without the general consensus of the community.
When they came, they proposed the plan. The youth, everyone in the community doesn't support their motion. So we said no. Suddenly they went to meet with the developer Femi of FBT Coral Limited. So when they met with Femi without our consent, they signed. We heard that they signed an MOU. They signed a MOU. When they signed the MOU, we heard about it. We are not happy because we didn't meet together to discuss this. So we were angry. We asked them that we are not in support with this MOU they signed. So they were like, we are the leaders. Anything we want is that. Anything we want is what you will take.
What I've learned so far, speaking with members of this community, is that while they are open to development in terms of better schools, healthcare and other infrastructure, they want all of this on their own terms. Now, their fear is that these developers could take advantage of them and steal their land. Now, they say that fishing is their primary source of income and any form of relocation is not welcome.
It is important to understand that the MOU speaks of several redevelopment projects that the community will benefit from, such as jobs and other social amenities. But a part which speaks of a displacement and resettlement at a later date worries the residents. The Lagos State government, on one hand,
promises to redevelop the area and turn it to an upscale estate in line with the theme's agenda of the state. But in the same breath, the MOU speaks of a relocation and resettlement of the locals. This contradiction raises three major questions. Since the MOU did not mention the construction of low-cost housing for the residents, how will the construction of an upscale mega estate be of benefit to the fishing community? Where does the government plan to move the fishing community to? And how would they be compensated? These are the questions TV360 Nigeria put forward in these letters to the Office of the Public-Private Partnership, whose special advisor is Okpe George. The Lagos State Ministry of Waterfront Infrastructure Development, headed by Ahmed Kabiru, and the Lagos State Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development, which was headed by Salako Idris at the time of this report. Sadly, all attempts to get a response from these three agencies, who play vital roles in the redevelopment plan of the Makoko-Iwaya waterfront community, have been futile. After an initial cancellation of a scheduled interview by the Special Advisor to the Office of Public-Private Partnership, Okpe George, we finally got a response months into this investigation. In a signed letter, the Special Advisor gave vague assurances of the state government's resolve to work in partnership with the locals. His responses did not give clear and direct answers to the questions and demands of the residents of Makoko-Iwaya waterfront community. We have also tried to get answers from Felix Moka, who is named as a legal representative of the Makoko-Iwaya fishing community in a memorandum of understanding. All calls to his numbers were unanswered, and he did not respond to his text messages.
Despite several protests, reclamation activities on the Makoko waterfront continues. As you can see behind me, that's a dredging machine set up by FBT Coral Estate Limited to reclaim more than 50 hectares of land of the Makoko waterfront. Now, fishermen say the dredging activities, as they call it, has made fishing quite difficult.
While the questions of the residents of Makoko-Iwaya waterfront community remains unanswered, the sorry state of housing deficit in Lagos is better explained in these numbers. An estimated population size of 23 million residents, a housing stock of 1.49 million units, and a household size of 4.9 people puts the housing deficit of the state at 3.2 million housing units. The Lagos State government is not unaware of this problem and says it has delivered 14 housing schemes in the past 2 years, contributing 7,000 affordable housing units. While this number of homes can barely solve the city's housing problems, these houses do not come cheap, as houses range between 4 million naira and 20 million naira. With Lagos having a poverty rate estimated at 8.5% and the vast majority living below extreme poverty levels, the construction of mega estates and even the low-cost housing estate is unaffordable for an average Makoko resident. This will further worsen the housing crisis and push more of the state's population into slums and, worse still, homelessness. To better understand the state's housing situation, I paid a visit to Lukman Oshodi, an infrastructure and development expert who led a research team in 2016 on the Lagos State government's past and present policies and projects that border on urban regeneration, housing and infrastructure development in the state, especially mega projects. Oshodi tells me some of his research outcomes.
If you look at the city of Lagos and the development orientation, all these resettlement, relocation, they are yet to be fully adopted as a culture of development processes in Lagos. If you look at development trajectory of Lagos, there is no way you can have a new development without some level of demolition and all that. But the process of going about that demolition so that it doesn't really expose the dignity of the people who reside in those places into danger, into ridicule. Those are the key points that need to come into play.
Sadly, the problem runs deeper than mere numbers suggest. When evacuations are carried out, families are torn apart and may never be properly compensated or resettled decades after. This was the case of some residents of Old Maroko who were lucky to be resettled in this substandard housing in Ikota area of the state. Now 70 years old, Roselyn Odimoko was a young mother and wife in 1990 when she and her husband lost their homes when the then military governor of the state, Raji Razaki, ordered the forceful eviction of more than 3,000 residents of Maroko.
When they give us notice 7 days that they're going to let everybody pack away, we think say that it's a joke. Before the 7 days, they bring bulldozers, soldiers, surround all the whole Morocco. That day of 7 days, they start demolishing all the whole places. That's during Rasaki regime, that 1990. Like I myself, I sleep for main road for good 2 weeks because nowhere to go. I have children. My husband is there. Many people, we don't know where to go. 7 days notice to go out is how Morocco. Some people are sleeping under bridge everywhere. The government still call us when we are reporting. Where are we going? Where are we going? Then give us say that we come and take our allocation paper for this 80 years a year. We went there. Then give them. Like we have 2 houses. They not even give us 1. Some people have 3. Then give them 1. It's by luck. The house at Morocco is 10,000 houses. But the people they locate for this place, both Jakonde and this, it's not all to 6,000 or 5,000. You see, when this thing happen, then give us allocation paper. Everybody comes to find the zone house here, and when we get, some people get the place, they enter. When that time there is no window, it's uncompleted building. Yeah, there no window, no door, no nothing. Like this breeze now, many people die because nowhere to hide themselves. Before we use zinc and everything, putting for the doors and this thing. After then call us again for roofers. Even they give us paper for the roofers for doors and the roofers, and we take it and come and fix it by ourselves.
While the eviction has been described as one of the largest forced evictions in Nigerian history, the people still face the threat of losing everything as land grabbers and encroachers threaten them daily.
February this month, we just see this year, we just say caterpillar just coming. They bring sand, fill all these places. When they break, they will continue fill. When they break, they fill. When they break, they fill. We go and meet them and say, who send you this work? Because we know because they have gone and this OPC people. And then we cannot go and meet them. We send people go and meet them. Where are you coming from? Who send you? They say they want to develop care. If you want to develop, not be develop. If you never see us, why you say you want to develop this place? Nobody against developer. The only thing, if you want to develop, you have to come to our community and ask us, say, what happened? This is our landlord or this is a landlord. Well, we don't discuss with you, just continue to break our house. We just begin the drag. After when we drag, they don't give us any results. We have to go back. We go to, during that time, there's one court when they go for Yaba. We went to the court, we complained, they said we should bring our allocation paper for court. We submit all our allocation paper. Still, we tell the court, say, they are breaking the house. Let's give us stop those people for us, Joshua. They say no, they cannot stop.
These are how they normally treat us in this community like this. You see these people we are seeing there, so he's accusing the landlord association. They are the land grabber and they are the agent of the land grabber. They are working for Manuel Eberu and they are working for Yemi Idowu, which is the aircon owner. So that is the way they threaten our in 2017-2018. They kill like our 4 or 5 men. When they come again, this 2022 again now, there's an old woman slum So also a pregnancy woman also die in these cases like this. Even though around 2:30, they also tormenting. If you are a landlord, you show your first data like this, they will start tormenting you that they will be putting fears in your body. They will kill you so that you will not be able to move front to come and push them away.
We're just about running up our interviews with the residents of Ikota Estate when a security operative who did not identify himself came to us and ordered us to pack up our cameras. He also accosted some of the residents. He said they encroached on the area, and he also threatened to identify them and deal with them if they do not leave that area. He was also seen filming some of us and the residents to leave. Now, in response, the residents have told him that this is their land, and they also tell me that this is the way these unknown security operatives come around to harass them.
Makoko isn't the only community in the threat of an eventual displacement, and Old Maroko is just one of several communities that have ceased to exist.
Believe it or not, this part of Lekki in Etiosa local government area used to be a thriving town of Maroko, which more than 300,000 residents called home. Maroko was adjacent to Ikoyi and east of Victoria Island. While all traces of old Maroko has been destroyed to make way for this affluent neighborhood, the original residents make do with substandard housing given by the Lagos State government as compensation.
The human and psychological effects of their eventual eviction and the apprehension of what the future holds reflect in the dynamics of human dignity, protection of aquatic life, and preservation of indigenous communities in Lagos State. Folashade Ogurinde, TV360 News.
COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by a new coronavirus introduced to humans for the first time. It is spread from person to person, mainly through the droplets produced when an infected person speaks, coughs, or sneezes. These droplets can land in the mouths or noses of people who are nearby. These droplets are too heavy to travel far in the air. They only travel approximately 1 meter and quickly settle on surfaces. This is the reason person-to-person spread is happening mainly between close contacts. The exact time that the virus can survive on surfaces is not yet known. So it is wise to clean surfaces regularly, particularly in the vicinity of people infected with COVID-19. Hands touch many surfaces, which can be contaminated with the virus. You should therefore avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth, since contaminated hands can transfer the virus from the surface to yourself. When coughing or sneezing, cover your mouth and nose with the bend of your elbow or use a disposable tissue. If a tissue is used, discard it immediately into a closed bin. The most effective way to prevent the spread of the new coronavirus is to clean your hands frequently with an alcohol-based hand rub or soap and water. This will eliminate the virus if it is on your hands. Stay healthy and prevent the spread of COVID-19.
As technology continues to advance globally, Nigerian youths are ensuring that they take the center stage of the fast-paced world of innovative inventions. From creating impressive programs to inventing new products, Nigerian youths are daily enhancing the quality of life and entrepreneurship that has a huge impact across Africa and the globe. Hello and welcome to another episode of Startups with me, Abisola Adebayo. On the program today, we'll be talking to two of these geniuses that are using technology to enhance the country's development. In Oyo State, Southwest Nigeria, Olushola Ayola has established a center to train Nigerians on robotics and artificial intelligence. And in Lagos, Onyeka Owika has created an application that helps save power consumption. How exactly are these guys able to do all of this? I'm just as curious as you are, but we'll be finding out in just a moment.
What RAIN does is the first of its kind in Nigeria and perhaps in West Africa, because we receive applications from Egypt, Liberia, Ghana, and so on. We do training and certification in robotics and artificial intelligence, which is the future. And developed countries are already beginning to struggle to take a position there. So normally Africa or Nigeria should just wait for all of that to be developed first before we take interest. But RAIN is saying no to that. My name is Dr. Olushola Ayola. I'm the founder of Robotics and Artificial Intelligence Nigeria.
Artificial intelligence, AI, is the technology of making machines perform tasks considered possible only with human intelligence. This technology has ushered in tremendous opportunities, leading to leapfrog development and attainment of economic growth and prosperity across developed and developing nations of the world. However, in Nigeria, the giant of Africa, the pace of innovation and artificial intelligence adoption has been slow, mainly due to the lack of adequate knowledge about the technology. Having lived and schooled in the United Kingdom for years, helping the country with developing ground and underwater robots and artificial intelligence, Olushola Ayola decided to return home and help his home country with the skill set and experience he's acquired. This electrical engineer was determined to prove that AI can improve the livelihood of Nigerians only if there can be enough Nigerian-based experts in the promising field. In 2019, he founded Robotics and Artificial Intelligence Nigeria RAIN, a foremost training, research and innovation center focused on the creation and development of artificial intelligence-enabled technology.
When I was done with my PhD and I was done with saving and I was done with working there, even though I was working in a robotics company that was helping the UK government to decommission their nuclear storage sites, I felt it was time to go and develop that skill in Nigeria for my people. Because many times when the UK needs to get a particular robot built, they do the design there, they send it to China. So China guys would actually build the robot and send it back to UK. And I felt, wait, why can't they send it to Nigeria? Because after all, I'm the one in the company that China will send it back to, and I'll try to get it back to standard. Unfortunately, whenever I tried to contact people in Nigeria, do you know how to use this? Do you know how to use that? They all say, no, we were not taught, or we were not taught very well, or we don't remember it because we've not been practicing it. So I felt, let's have a new kind of education system where we get projects to do, we get people to train, and we get research to do. So it's all busy. It's like a Silicon Valley of ideas here in Nigeria. And so we set it up. If we had said you can only come to RAIN if you are a computer science graduate with 2-1 or anything, we will be limiting a number of people. because you would agree with me that many people are very good when it comes to hands-on, but may not be good when it comes to WAEC or NECO or all those JAMB exams. And so, for us at RAIN, to get into RAIN to study, you need to be above 15 years old. So that means you should have finished secondary school, and you should have a credit pass in your mathematics at O levels. That's it.
Ayola prides in the quality of training and infrastructure RAIN offers its trainees. He says the plan is to compete with standards from developed nations and produce the next generation of AI experts to contribute to the country's development.
It's been a series of eureka moments, like, wow, we did it again, we did it again. Typically in Nigeria, and this is one thing we have learned a lot from the experience in the past, you don't set up an institution to look like the normal African standard, Nigerian standard. You have to raise the bar. So we were not competing with anybody in Nigeria. We were competing with the standards I met in the UK, which were my vision for Nigeria. You know, a school that is homely, the teachers are friendly, the environment is friendly, you have a hangout spot, you have a kitchen, you have relaxation, games and all of that. Then you have internet. You have power supply, you have facilities, like you have the kind of ambience that makes you want to learn. You have projectors, you have all of the, all of those IT facilities that will encourage students to want to learn. We have all that. RAIN is actually taking care of unemployment in the future by providing the skill that the government or the people need. That's one. Secondly, RAIN is helping to attract foreign investment, because just by having a pool of talent in the area of AI, you're a leader, global leader. Now, when people look for AI solutions globally, they just go on Google and search artificial intelligence developers across the world, and RAIN puts Nigeria on the map.
Since establishment, RAIN has been experiencing a steady growth. Ayola says students in the tech field are eager to enroll and is also been receiving partnership proposals from the government, local and international bodies. Beyond this, the institution has been building and developing impressive artificial intelligence products.
It's been growth upon growth as we've been going. At first we were training only, and then later we started doing research for people, and now we're doing product development. So it's like we keep going higher. Of course, investors have been coming as well to say, can we buy this company off you? Can we take over? Can we expand it quickly enough? And I'm like, let's just all calm down. Let's see where we're heading, because I can't quantify the worth of the company until we get to a point where I can see everything from up there. We've had business deals, project deals with major companies. I can't mention their names now, but then about 3 major companies. One is on drone for parcel delivery, another one is on energy management, and another one is on waste management. Now, this is to say a few, because we have other engagements with government in some areas that we cannot talk about. But then, for us, it's a milestone, because we started up as a training institution, and now we are moving into product development. You know, and this is the curve that if we can continue that trajectory, there is no way saying we've got to the end point yet. We haven't.
But these achievements did not come on a platter of gold. Ayola says setting up RAIN was not a walk in the park, especially in a country where electricity is a luxury.
You know, money is never enough. You want to set up a world-class institution, you're competing with people who spend billions and trillions to set up same thing. So how do you set up same thing with lower and lower budget? That was the biggest challenge for me. How do I make this place look expensive even though I'm not spending all of that money? Because I'm not the richest in Nigeria to be able to set up something like this. People walk in here and say, wow, billions have gone into this. Well, yes, billions, but not billions in money, but billions in ideas. Because my first challenge was, I must make this place look like $1 billion has been spent on it, even if I don't have that. And that was the first challenge. We did that. We did that very well. Then the second challenge is the power aspect. We run on 24 hours power. We can't do without power here. This is not a place where power will go off and everybody will be like, let's just wait for NEPA to bring light. We must have constant, because we do 3D printings. And 3D printings, you dare not wait for any second, otherwise you might lose the entire quality. So we do a lot of work, we do a lot of research, interfaces, meetings and all of that, and we need power. So the challenge there has been, how do we maintain steady power? The concept of generator, solar and all of that have come, but they can't meet our needs. We just need constant power from the government. But that's going to be a thing of the past now, because we are working on a project with a UK company on developing homegrown power solutions. And it's going to be a very large project. So one of the big power engines will be domiciled here at RAIN for demonstration and all of that.
Ismaila Surajo is one of the student trainees at RAIN. Surajo used to be a self-taught technician in his little village of Rubochi in Kuje Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory, where he's been inventing locally made tractors and machines. Surajo got a scholarship to study at RAIN in 2020 after inventing a local water provider in his village. In less than 2 years, the 23-year-old is now developing smart water meter.
I've learned how to program using my system. When I was in school, I can build a car, I'll be the one to control it. But now I can use my system to control it. I intend to become an engineer in robotic design. I can design a robot that can help in community to solve some problem. I make smart water control device. Once you put your card, it on the water for you. You can subscribe on my own water device. I have other projects I'm going to work on.
It's been sponsored by one of the people in government, because he was given an award by the president in November 2020, and now he's developing solutions that will benefit his community directly. He's building a smart water meter that people in the locality can just slot in their card, their smart card, and water is dispensed in their bucket. So that way, what he's trying to do is to encourage lawmakers or people in government to donate boreholes to communities, because the people will not take it for free. They will pay a token using that smart water meter, and by using that token, the money for maintaining that facility, that water infrastructure, is provided.
Ayola has indeed paid his dues in starting up RAIN. His vision is to make an impactful change in Nigeria's development pace and education sector by imparting his knowledge and skills of artificial intelligence. And the company's milestone so far shows he's right on track.
Give RAIN about 5 years or less, and you'll be surprised that many things we look for outside would be produced in-house. And it's not going to be RAIN only, it's going to be offshoots of RAIN, people that RAIN has actually promoted or produced, and they are the ones that would begin to solve these problems. So if you look at 10 years from now, you'll see big entrepreneurs saying, I decided to set up this business after my training at RAIN, and I figured out that this was a major business need for the country. And of course, there you go. So we are really helping the country to prepare for the future now. The structure we've set up, fine, AI and robotics is not new in the world, but the structure we have set up for AI and robotics, no facility in the world has set that up. Where you do training and certification, where you do research and projects for everybody, not for your company. For example, Toyota, they have the Toyota Research Institute, where they do research in AI and robotics for their company only. But we are now setting up something that does AI and robotics research and product development for anybody. So what that means is that we are taking this to people's homes. So in the future, RAIN may be not a Nigerian-based company any longer, but a global body, competing with the likes of SpaceX and so on. Because we have all of that model embedded in what we are doing.
The technological advancement of any society is hinged on its ability to invent and innovate, as these are the cardinal bedrock upon which development is built and sustained. With RAIN's drive to nurture and train the next generation of AI experts in Nigeria, one can say the country is well on its way to achieving sustainable development. I'm actually excited for the country. I mean, imagine the potentials of these experts that RAIN will be churning out. Anyways, this next innovator will blow your mind. With his invention, you wouldn't even need to lift a finger to reduce your power consumption and control a lot of home appliances.
Okay, at Ving Global Technologies, we create solutions for human with our full home and office automation. We do that with our OVO products and our OVO Smart app, where we make life easy for everyone. They can have total control of their home, their offices, and their hotels. And they can do all that without a human intervention using our OVO Smart app. They can control everything in their home and save the cost of their electricity bills. They can know who comes into their home at every given point. They can turn off the electrical appliances and every of the appliances at anywhere they are in the world. My name is Onyeka Onwoka. I'm the CEO of Ving Global Technologies Limited. Computer, turn on bedroom lights.
Okay. Who would have ever thought that in decades to come in Nigeria, words of mouth will be able to control gadgets without having to move an inch? From carrying out big tasks to attending to menial errands, engineers across the world are leveraging technology to make life easier for people. One of such innovative engineers is Onyeka Owuka, a 32-year-old graduate from the National Metallurgical Training Institute in Anambra, Southeast Nigeria. Bothered by the high energy consumption plaguing his country, Onyeka decided to establish Ving Global Technologies, an engineering technology outfit, under which he developed a comfortable solution to help people control their home and electrical appliances from anywhere in the world through an automatic systemic app. He calls it the OVO Smart application.
It has been a very long time. I started developing this app. And the reason why I started developing it was I've seen people leaving their home appliances on. They left their home appliances on and went out and then came back and started complaining about their electricity bills being piling up, forgetting that once it's turned off, your electricity bills won't be reading. So I started looking for a way to help people do all that. I've seen people turn on their gas on and leave it. Then they forget to turn it off. They might be carried away seeing a movie, or they might be carried away watching social media. So I started looking for a way to help people do all that without human intervention. I started looking for a way to help people turn off their appliances off, turn off their gas. Then that was what led me to create the OVO Smart app. Let's say if you want to control the light, you buy our OVO switch lights. When you buy it, you don't need to change your bulbs, just the controller. So you buy the light and then remove, you don't need to break your walls. All you need to do is to change the fittings. If you already have the old fittings, the manual fitting, you just change the fittings and then use our fitting. So once you use our fitting, you sync it with the OVO Smart app, and then from there you can control your lights. If you want to control your gas, we have our gas controller that you can use in your gas cylinder. Then if you want to control your TV, you use our IR, our OVO IR controller to control your TV. You can use it to control your AC. You can use our OVO water heater switch to control your water heater. You can also use our gate controller to open your gates and close your gates. Within Global Technologies will make sure your security is intact. Within Global Technologies will make sure that your electricity bills is being slid down to 60%. Within Global Technologies will make sure your comfort is what you need. It will make sure that you have comfort, total comfort. We'll make sure you have that easy lifestyle.
By connecting their devices to the OVO Smart app and the internet, users can control them all without moving an inch. All they need is a voice command, smartphone or fingerprint. Onyeka says the OVO Smart app is connected to all the OVO products designed by his team. The customers then connect the product to the appliances. When the customer then orders the app to do a task, it gets notification once the task is completed.
What our OVO Smart app does is whenever it does any command being said by you, it will notify you that it has done it. So let's say someone comes to your home and you unlock remotely. Once the person gains access, it will notify you on your phone that the person has already gained access. So you can see the person with your OVO camera and you can have a conversation with the person, and once you turn off your gas as well, it will notify you that your gas is being turned off. So it doesn't just turn it off and leave you blindly. So once it does the command you set, it will notify you immediately that it has done this for you. Even hotel owners, they use our sensors. Once you have a guest and the person check in, you can see it will notify you that a guest just checked in your room. So it will notify you as a hotel owner. You don't need to be in the hotel to ask your management what rooms we are fully occupied. Is my rooms fully booked? So from your OVO Smart app, you get notification. You get notified that your rooms, if it's fully booked, you will get the notification. If 20 rooms we are booked, you get notification. So all those things, you get notification from anywhere you are in the world.
Onyeka launched the OVO Smart app in 2020. Working in a country where electricity is not stable, he says achieving this feat was not a walk in the park.
Developing an app, you have to do the graphics, you have to write the codes. So I did all that with my team. In my team, I have a graphic designer that designs the graphic that I need to do. The commands, I wrote the commands on my own. So the challenges I was facing that time was I need to always stay strong. The challenges I was facing was the power issue, because I have to test my app with a generator and also test my app with the power from the government. So if I want to test it, I'll have to wait for the lights to come so that I will test it. So those were the challenges I was having at the moment while developing the app. But after all said and done, it came out a success. I'm trying to set up the internet to be able to run the program using a minimal internet to charge in kilobytes and not in megabytes. So with 1,000 Naira subscription, all your appliances will be running. And we also try to make it work with every internet providers like MTN, Airtel, Etisalat, every internet providers. We also try to make it work with all that.
Since the launch of the application, Onyeka says he and his team continues to work to improve on the application and introduce more features to make life easier for customers.
We have our competitors, and that is why we are working hard every day to make sure we give in the best quality. When we started our app, there was no virtual assistant. What I mean by virtual assistant is using your voice to control everything. It's not every time you go to the app and start scrolling, looking for the light that is on and off. So we brought in, because as each day goes in, we keep on pushing And now you can sync our OVO Smart app with your Siri, with your Google Assistant, with your Alexas. So we keep on bringing the best every day. That is why we work hard to make sure we are at the face of everyone.
Since the OVO Smart app broke into the market, Vin Global Technologies have continued to record accelerating growth, and even though the tech firm is yet to get a major investor, it now has over 20,000 customers across Africa.
At first when we brought it out on social media, few people came to patronize us. They saw that it was good and they started spreading the news. They started spreading everything, letting people know that we are using this thing. Like our smart locks, there are people. People have been using it for 2 years, 2 years plus, without no issues. So you don't need electricity to run the smart app. It uses a finger battery. So after 1 year, all you have to do is to change your finger battery. So people started advertising for us. People we don't even know, they started advertising our product for us because they've used it and it's working. So we started, we have influencers that helps us to do all that as well. And when the influencers does that, people use our product and see that it's of good quality because we chose quality over quantity. So people saw that our products were of good quality, and then that was how the marketing level started. We started moving from places to places, going to real estate developers, showing them what we have, and from that we keep on. That was how we started expanding. Right now we don't have investors at the moment, but we have up to 23,000 plus customers. We have a lot of customers that are patronizing us already, and we have more coming each day. We have customers coming from South Africa, from Ghana, from Cameroon, from Sierra Leone, from Nigeria. We have people buying our product from all these African countries. We don't have investors at the moment, but our product is going because it's of good quality, and all our products are 2 years warranty.
Onyeka says the future projection is for his innovation to break into the international market and in extension save Nigerians from bogus electricity consumption, which makes them pay more.
In the next 4 or 5 years, I want our company, Vin Global Technologies. I want my company, Vin Global Technologies, to be talk of the world. I want us to be the #1 in automation system and all that. I'm making sure that every home, offices and facility have our products all over the world.
At a time when authorities in the country continues to seek a lasting solution to energy consumption and increased electricity tariff, Onyeka's innovation, if expanded, might be the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm actually impressed by the good work these guys are doing to improve technology in Nigeria. Anyways, this is where we'll be signing out on the program today. Until I come your way next time, I am Abisola Adebayo. Bye.
Thanks for joining us on News Now at this time.
Protest in Lagos.
Thank you for joining us today on the newsroom. Lagos State Emergency Management Authority has said so there's no need to
one vote woman and
broader spectrum frequencies.
The bulls took over the wheels on the Nigerian stock market today as sellers eased.
The first time I was here to locate the Ghanaian cane weaving community, a Nigerian told me point blank that these Ghanaians would steal my money. I was curious and I wondered why these two nationalities who share the same profession would have such level of animosity between them. And I'm here to find out why.
If you're familiar with Maryland in Lagos, it is difficult to miss this beautiful display of handmade cane crafts. Beneath the Maryland Bridge, linking the Ojota area of the city, cane-based products such as chairs of all varieties, living room sitters, house decor, as well as baskets of all shapes and sizes are sold here. But behind this lush display of artistic brilliance lies a culture of discrimination against the migrant population of Ghanaian cane artisans, one which has been in practice for decades now. Unlike their Nigerian counterparts, Ghanaian cane artisans are restricted to a remote part of this cane weaving community. So what is the genesis of this unfair practice and why has it been perpetrated for so long? To find out, we paid a visit to Monkey Village, just behind the Maryland cane weaving community where the Ghanaian cane weavers live and work.
This is Monkey Village, right here in Mende, Maryland, Lagos, Nigeria. In what appears to be the outback of the area, Ghanaian cane weavers are not allowed to venture beyond these parameters. While Nigerians are allowed to display their products, Ghanaians serve as laborers who manufacture these cane products for a fixed price.
54-year-old Adeyemi Bolarinwa concentrates hard as he weaves this basket. His calloused hands work deftly and in a matter of minutes he finishes one of his orders. Bolarinwa's father is Nigerian, but his mother is Ghanaian. Despite his being a Nigerian, Bolarinwa cannot sell his products directly to buyers. He can only sell to a group of Nigerian cane weavers, who in turn sell directly to customers. It's a rule among the Cane Weavers Association here which restricts non-Nigerian cane weavers from dealing directly with customers.
They brought some job for one Nigerian man, according to the history, from 1986. Then the man delayed the job, and they saw another Ghanaian man. They went to, that's a Sheraton hotel. So they went to the Ghana man. The Ghana man did the thing in time as they want. So the contract go to that Ghana man. So then, now those people are the indigenous work against foreigners that they can share a place together. So the moment they granted that law still will work from 86 up to by this time. So Ghanaians don't have any choice to sell, to meet customers or something like sell in direct. So always we are in backyard that when they receive the order, they come and give us a job. That's the situation where we are facing now.
As migrant workers, Bolarinwa says he and other Ghanaians have no choice than to obey this restrictive rule. So they keep their heads low and make the best of their meager income.
A stranger cannot be like citizen, so we have no choice, and there's no any help. Because if someone came that we want to give you advance, they used to tell the person that this is a foreigner, we used to take your money around or something like that. So we have no choice. We are there in panic, and we just manage it because that's a handicraft. That's a hand job. We can't. That's my professional, actually. It's my professional. So anyhow, bear it, I'll manage it.
We asked Bolarinwa if the Ghanaian cane weaving community in Maryland had made any attempt to report to relevant authorities. He says no one has come to help despite many complaints.
We used to let people from Ghana embassy to come and interview us at times. But there's no help. There's no help. We try a lot. We join their group, Nagacon and this and that, but at times, the way the thing they go, we see that there's no help. So the work will be like a struggle, with a struggle for our needs. Anyhow we manage it and bear it.
It gives further details of the mode of operation between the Nigerian cane sellers and the Ghanaian cane weavers.
We arrange every basket within price, where it's a popular no. Then any quantity where the person want to come and book from you, he can give you advance. Then after finishing the product, we take your balance. That's the way we are going. Then I submit for them, I take my balance. Some people are pay cash, some people can give you in half basis. He can give you advance. When you finish, supply the thing to the who come and done the work with you. Then you take your balance from. We have no chance because there's no shade. He cannot give you, as a foreigner, he cannot give you shade to shade your market. They share by themselves.
Kwaku Noah is another Ghanaian cane weaver in Maryland. For 15 years, Kwaku has struggled to make ends meet due to the trade inequality he suffers.
Maybe the price we are going to sell for woman as this back here. If I did roadside, one day, God goes see me about a better customer where I can sell for the person where I could see gain pass where I did. So it affects us. So if we are on the roadside, I'm sure say we go see better customer pass, better price pass what we are gaining as the back here.
Fed up with the unpleasant situation, a number of Ghanaian cane weavers have either moved back to their home country or adopted other trades. Now the once boisterous community has become a shadow of itself.
Before, we are more than 20 or 30 people. Right now, I remember maybe roughly, I can say about 5 or 4 people now. We remain. Before we are more than 30, but things know the balance. And then, they gain assist to support the work. Everything I'm money now, so if you know, gain a way to get something assist your business, you can go forward. So right now, I know they easy for us. As you can settle another side like that, it's money, because to get a place to stay, it's money. But I to money no day on hand like that.
To confirm these allegations and to understand the root cause of the act of discrimination against the Ghanaian cane weavers in Maryland area of Lagos, I paid a visit to the chairman of the Cane Weavers Association in Maryland, Dennis Omadide. Surprisingly, Omadide confirms everything we've heard from the Ghanaian cane weavers. He explains that the Ghanaians are restricted for 2 major reasons. They work fast and they charge less. These 2 factors, he says, could disrupt the profit margins of Nigerian artisans.
To make the market so polluted, that's what I mean. But they produce fast. They produce fast. So by the time you try to draw a kind of item that will come to market, it's like this. Then when they overflow, then the market, that market will not depreciate on that area. The reason why we do that, then they are trying to frustrate the market in terms of sales in the beginning. So that's why we notice that instead of that to happen, let us stay on their own, then we should stay on our own.
Omadide says while the migrants are not allowed to mix with Nigerians and display their trade, they are however free to establish their business in other locations.
That is the normal procedure, the constitution, what we have. That when they come, they will work for us. We normally collect basket from there to sell to our customer. So we don't want them to close to us in that way. It's like they will know how much we are selling to the other. So that is why they not do it. But now it is old. For now they have assets free, direct to customer. But they are not the midst of us here. Some day for Abalikoro, some day at Tony Down. That is how.
So whose responsibility is it to protect the interests of Ghanaians in Nigeria? We had requested an official response from the Ghanaian consulate in Lagos to find out if the mission is aware of the discrimination and what it is doing to stop the menace. TV360 Nigeria did not receive an official response from the Ghanaian consulate, but in a meeting we had with the Consul General, Senator Gifty Bukari, key officials of the consulate, the president of the Ghanaian community in Lagos, Augustine Appiah, as well as the Ghanaian cane weaver, Charles Sapong, it appears the consulate is aware of the problem, but may not want to ruffle any feather.
I'm just coming out from a meeting with the Ghanaian Consulate General, Senator Gifty Bukari, who appeared irate about a request for an interview, especially the part that spoke about publishing the findings of this investigation with or without an official response from the consulate. Now the Consulate General declined to give an official interview on what she's doing to ensure that Ghanaian cane weavers in the Mende area of Lagos are not discriminated against. Now, our phones were confiscated and we are not allowed to take any recordings.
As the second largest country with a migrant population of over 1.3 million, Nigeria has a national policy to address labor migration issues. Page 21 and 22 of the National Policy on Labor Migration clearly states that migrant workers have the right to negotiate by collective bargaining, enjoy freedom of movement, as well as upholding equal treatment and non-discrimination regardless of migration status. But it appears some Nigerian businesses are not willing to accommodate migrants. Director General of Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Nasima Shola Obadimu, says the unfair treatment of Ghanaian cane weavers is nothing short of bullying.
It's just a case of bullying. It's to some level a case of harassment. You know, even within the Nigerian environment, you can open a shop and start selling pepper, and the second day some people will come to you that they want to seal your shop.
So is there any law in Nigeria limiting the trading activities of migrant workers in Nigeria?
We have this ECOWAS treaty that encourages free movement of goods and services within the West African sub-region. So for West African nationals, they can do their business freely. We have Nigerians doing businesses all along the West African coast. So if they are West African nationals, they can do their business. So far it is a legit business, and when they are operating within the laws of Nigeria, they are free citizens.
Sadly, the problem of discrimination of migrant workers is not peculiar to Nigeria alone. There have been documented cases of discrimination against Nigerians in Ghana, xenophobic acts against other Africans in South Africa, and the general attitude of hostility against Africans, which experts say has affected the social, political, and economic cohesion of the continent.
As a Nigerian, if I'm heading up to Ghana, there's this orientation, European orientation, that yes, I'm heading up the north of Africa. So they don't see this whole reality of trade between borders and trade within African countries. They just see everybody as a suspected migrant, as prospective migrants. So heading up to Ghana means you may be heading up further to Mauritania or that to Libya or Morocco, such thing. So and in this whole situation, people are made to be criminal, made to appear like criminals, because the moment you go across the barriers, the borders, and then you are not with the right documents, so to say, then you are seen as a criminal. And being a criminal means, yes, you are being identified as somebody who is illegal. And then you can see from this perspective, when one migrant does something that is wrong, so it is tied to a lot of other migrants at the end of the day. So we have this whole problem in the world now where we prejudice, or we just wrap up figures to say when one person is bad, the first person you meet at the end of the day, you just wrap up his tribe to be part of this whole problem.
They are what's affected because they are not captured and documented. So their country is not aware they are here, and our country is not aware they are here. I mean documentation-wise. Okay, so people like that will hardly go to the embassy to make reports or report to the Nigerian authority. most times they will look for a way to manage the situation for as long as they can before they leave. So what can be done is that it goes back to the same point I made before, that our orientation agency, you understand, must make sure that they talk about these things. It's not talked about.
Bolariwa and Kweku may have resigned to fate and lost all hope of ever competing fairly with their Nigerian counterparts, but these talented cane weavers hold on to the dream of returning to their homeland someday, where they can live and work freely without fear or discrimination. Folashade Ogrinde, TV360 News.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, the truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians have said in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, and use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
TV360, dissecting the issues.
It's been 42 years now since St. Ambrose's Catholic Secondary School was established by the Catholic Church before it was taken over by the government. Several students have passed through the 4 walls of the school, just as several administrative staff have come and gone. But the one thing that has remained largely unchanged is the infrastructure and teaching facilities in the school. Year by year, things got worse. Classroom buildings began giving way. The classrooms themselves became inconducive for both teaching and learning. Things were literally in an abject state.
We have been managing teaching even when the rain is falling, the rain will be falling inside the classroom. We cannot abandon teaching. At times we we mass students together when there is no conducive classroom. During the tenure of the past principal, Mr. Ogunbadejo Fola. So when he came to the school, he discovered that things will not be going on like this. So many classrooms are leaking, some roofs have even off, some buildings are collapsed. The parents are not able to do anything concerning it. So we be folding hands. Then every year, the roofing have been taking away a lot of money. So he now decided to go spiritual by calling upon God. So every Thursday of every month, we used to gather together, spending 30 minutes, calling upon God. So we look for the names of some old students. We got the name from one of the old students called KK. We wrote their name on the pieces of paper. During the prayer time, we raised the name up. God to compel them to come.
Either by divine intervention or mere coincidence, something happened. One of the old students of the school decided to pay a visit. Multiple award-winning journalist Deji Bademosi graduated from the school 26 years ago as the senior prefect of the 1994 set.
I went there to do a story on the dilapidated state of the school. And there's a project we're actually doing, a project that I'm actually doing, known as Track Nigeria, being supported by the MacArthur Foundation. So the whole idea for me initially was to go there and highlight the dilapidated state of the school so that I could call the attention of the government to the situation there and to see if the government could at least come in there to help address the infrastructural problem there. But you know, when I got there, and because that's the school I actually attended myself, I was touched. And you know, I just felt rather than just tell the story and wait for the government to do something, that at least I could do something to help. I was really touched, and I decided, well, that at least we could do some renovation. So the whole idea was, okay, go there, renovate, and that was how it started.
An engineer was contracted to commence work on the site, but little did they know that the structure required more than the planned renovation due to the severity of the damage.
When I got there, all the foundation was already above the ground level, meaning that you can even be seeing the foundation footing already outside exposed, which anything can happen. The building can collapse at any time. After opening the space for the column and the second day, you know, the building is weak already, even with the exposure of the foundation, I said. So one side of the classroom gave way immediately.
The only thing we could do to salvage the situation was to pull down the entire building and, you know, build a new one. And for me, that was something really huge. It was not something that I had actually planned for, considering the cost implication. So I summoned courage and I said, you know what, okay, you guys go ahead, pull the building down, we'll put up a new building.
It was a tough decision, but certainly worth it. The reconstruction officially kicked off in August 2019 under the direct supervision of one of the alumni of the school.
We left here like 26 years ago, and there was no any kind of maintenance since we left. So I supervised the building right from the scratch to where it is today, all to the glory of God.
As the new building started to take shape, it was hard to ignore the remaining dilapidated blocks of classrooms and abandon them to decay.
As one building was getting completed, I looked at the situation again and I felt, well, we can do another one. So I said, you know what, I looked at my pulse and I said, well, maybe I could just try the second one. And then the second one came down, the old building now came down, and we started work on the second one. And then the third one as well, you know, one of the old students there came to me and said, look, supposing I provide blocks for the foundation, you know, and then, you know, build it up to lintel level, would you mind to just take it over from there? And I was like, okay, let's see how it goes. Because I knew it was going to cost a lot of money, but, you know, that was how the third building started. Then there was no plan to have a toilet. The school had no toilet. But then I felt, look, it wouldn't be nice at all to have these new buildings. You have the students there, and then they have no place to go ease themselves, and they have to make use of the bush. Again, I summoned courage, and I said, okay, you know what, let's put up a toilet facility there. And that was how the toilet facility came up. So right there now we have 10 toilets. I then thought, if you have a toilet, how then do you get water to service the toilet? And the school has no borehole. The school has a well that dries up during the dry season. And then, again, not planned for initially. Remember, I started by saying we wanted to do just one building. Not planned for. So I said, okay, let's get the borehole.
After the borehole, then came the landscaping and flooring of the school. As the school continued to get a facelift, it was almost unbelievable for staff and students who watched their wish become a reality.
It's a thing of joy to me. But on a daily basis, when I come to school, I have to look down and see the buildings, which is not common, it's one in town. I was made to know that there is no school that is having this type of building. No school. Is it the restroom? Is it the classroom? Is it the offices? Is it the type of furniture there? It is second to none, I must confess, and I'm very happy. In fact, about 5 teachers called me, sir, how can I get my transfer to your school?
And we start everything together. You understand? The foundation, the building, the roofing, the plastering, the painting, and everything. I was there with them, being one of the host students. By the time our students see what is going on in the school, they were all happy. You understand? By the time we want to do little works there, I have to call them. This is your class. You are going to use this class. So what can you people do for us? And they were happy in helping us. Packing sand, gravel, you know, all these things, little things that they can do with joy. You know, in fact, they were happy doing it for us, being their school. And I believe by the time we are going for new section now, we are going to have more students.
I felt so proud that at least I could contribute in my own little way to this present development. This project is single-handedly done by one person, a God-sent person, who is not a politician. He doesn't get free money from anywhere. He works hard to get his money, and he's not investing for any profit. Like I asked Deji, because we said, bro, what are you even doing this for? He said, Maurice, I'm doing it for God and for humanity's sake. That look, I don't need all these students for anything in my life. I don't need them to survive. I don't need them to get to any position. My children might need them. It's a very good thing. It's really done well. I feel so proud to be part of 94 set. I feel so proud to be a friend to Deji Badimosi for all what he's done. And I feel so proud to be part of this project.
The school, which was once looked down on, has now become a point of reference and top choice for people in the community.
People passing on the road, they were actually branching to see that could a better structure be on this school with what they have been seeing. So look at the design, look at the space that we managed to get what we have, and a very spacious classroom, corridor with a staircase that can easy the going and coming of the students. So it's a new, in fact, the facility that is there make it far better.
The only thing that makes me happy is that these students will now learn in a good environment. And this will also enhance their quick grasping of whatever has been taught in school, makes them relax. You are safe. They feel safe now. I think the last time we went there, we saw the building. I couldn't imagine how they could understand what the teacher is saying. But one, you're not sitting well. You're either standing and you're receiving your lecture, or you're sitting with somebody. But with what we have on ground, I think the student will be happy, will learn well in that good environment.
Many young ones now, they are planning to come to St. Ambrose. Before, you see some parents, when they are passing by, they used to say, that's what they used to say it in our language. I myself then, I cannot say this is my school. But now, I can boast. This is the school I passed out from. So I'm very, very happy, and I'm using this medium to thank the departments for what they have done for our school. He rebuilt our school, and God will rebuild his life.
With the junior classes, also referred to as downhill, now wearing a new look, the school authority, in addition to their great show of appreciation, are appealing for the extension of this gesture to the senior secondary classes of the school as well.
Permit me to ask like an Oliver twist. If this structure could continue to the senior section, it will be very good. Not that somebody living in a modern building, coming to a leaking classroom, a classroom where there's no fan, a classroom where there's no, in fact, dusty, stinking, rotten chairs. The chalkboard is even not good. It will not be so good. Permit me to tell you that we don't have laboratories in the school. Every classroom in this school is leaking. It's dusty, smelling. I'm sorry I'm using these words. But if you care to look at them, you will not like them. From junior section to senior section, it will be demoralizing.
For the man who has single-handedly done all of these, his primary goal is to pass a strong message across to the government, old students, and the general public.
My hope and intention is that when the government or the governor, if the governor comes to commission this, that when he comes, he would at least see what an old student has done. And then that could serve as some kind of motivation for the government now to do something. And not just for the government now to do something, but also important for other old students to take a cue. I mean, those who have, been blessed to at least take a cue. And what I tell people is, I'm not a rich person, I'm not rich. It cost me so much. And, but you really don't have to be rich to do certain things. So as an old student, even if it's just a block or two you're able to contribute, that would go a long way. And also very important is that, people have always said journalists always take, they don't give. And this is to disprove that journalists we don't just report situations. So sometimes, journalism could make you
over by President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja.